that's how hard this climb is going to be. And they're relevant teams on their schedule leading up to the deadline.
Welcome into Northside Territory, Foul Territory Network's Cubs podcast. I'm Sahadev Sharma with Patrick Mooney. We're your Cubs beat writers at The Athletic. We are covering the hot Cubs, who have won 5 of 2 games. Man, if it wasn't for that Saturday doubleheader sweep, this tone would be so much different, right? Like we would be hyping this team. I think one more win there would make it feel a lot different. But Patrick, I said coming into this 7-game series, if they went 5-2, that's the type of thing that staves off a sell for a little bit. They did that. They won the first 4, so 5-2 almost feels like a little anticlimactic. But they played really well for about 10 games now. The games that they didn't, 2 of them were just blow up losses, and Saturday night was just a lot of what plagued them for the 2 months that we saw the poor play, right? But other than that, we saw the team that kind of we had expected to see a little bit more of, or at least more frequently. Sunday, I think, is a dream scenario of that we're just not going to see very much, because I don't think this team has that type of power. I think Craig Counsell would love it if that's the type of power they display more
For
regularly. Sure. But I don't see that happening. I don't want to act like Sunday is like some jumping off point for any of these guys, Pete Crow Armstrong or Christopher Morel, both of whom really need to turn it on offensively. But still a big week and a big road trip, and Counsell said as much. I think that was one of the best case scenarios to end the first half.
Yeah, I enjoyed reading your takeaways piece on the Athletic this morning, and I think it's funny how might have been like the best week of the season, and yet they're still in the spot they're in. It was kind of like they did sort of the bare minimum just to not totally swing towards selling. And so, I also think it's funny too of they're playing really well. Now they're going to be iced for several days and we'll have to get it back going again. I guess they'll probably take the rest and relaxation no matter what. But yeah, I mean, this was a pivotal road trip. We had kind of framed it that way, and they passed. And so I think we're still kind of in that place, and you've been talking to people and have a sense of this. They could do the soft sell if things sort of go south. I think they could incrementally add on maybe low impact rental guys or inexpensive rental guys. And then I guess the dream scenario that everyone talks about and rarely seems to happen would be that guy who could help you right now and put you in a better position for 2025, right?
Yeah, I don't know how you do that unless you're getting Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And I guess that isn't completely out of the realm of possibility. I don't, we haven't heard any real whispers there. I'd be surprised if they are aggressive for a rental. And when I say aggressive, I mean giving up a real prospect or two. Someone that DJ Hers is a real prospect, right? But they trust their pitching depth so much that that wasn't something that really hurt them. I think if you're trading away from your strong prospect pool, it's got to be for impact beyond this season. They'll have to. It's on them to find those deals, right? It's kind of like Michael Bush in a sense. You have to have your ear to the ground and be super aware of what's going on. You make that trade, the Cubs make that trade 100 times out of 100. Those are the types of trades that they love. You want our low A guys for this guy that's blocked that can help us right away? Sure. We'll do that deal. That's where they are right now. That they would love to find stuff like that. Maybe someone with, preferably someone with more established history than Bush at the time, but Bush is looking like a steal. And part of what they need, I think, is it's just some depth beyond guys like Bush and Hap and Saya, right? Like right
Yeah,
now, like there's
that
so
was a
much.
good
I mean,
takeaway. Yeah.
like I was looking up, I was trying to like think about the power from a different point of view, and it was just like, because of Bellinger's lack of power and him also playing all over the place, like center field, second base, and catcher are just empty, devoid of power. That's three
Mhm.
positions, three spots in your lineup. And then Morel's not playing third. So you have Master Boney there, four spots in your lineup where it's like a home run's really hard to come by. Granted, those positions hit 4 home runs over the weekend. I think they're 3 on Sunday, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then Miguel Amaya hit 1 on Saturday. So Tomas Nido, 2 by PCA. Nico's not going to hit for a ton of power. That's just who he is,
Mhm.
right? Like he never has been. Like maybe average-ish power is what you can hope for. But I think I wonder if there's a way to upgrade that this season. If not, that's a must beyond this season. You can't have that many
Yes.
lineups where it's just like, your best bet is like a walk or a single.
I mean, that was what unprompted, someone on the team brought that up as the number one need is more slug. Like, I think that's recognized internally. It's something that has been on the radar for a long time now. And, it's easy for us to say, go get a star, but like that's their job. And that is the one missing piece, because as the rest of your takeaways laid out, like the starting pitching is awesome. I think you mentioned what, like 4 starters, maybe minimum 80 innings, are like top 10-ish in ERA. I mean,
Yeah,
something
Assad's
like,
11th, and I think it
okay,
was
top
NL.
12 or whatever.
I think
Yeah, okay.
but 3 of them are top 10, and then Assad comes in at 11th, and
Okay,
I
so
believe that was NL. But still, like, who cares if it's NL?
awesome.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's really impressive.
and yet they're still 4 under. And I
Right,
mean, we kind of start looking ahead to, this homestand coming out of the break. I believe Justin Steele will start Friday, correct?
right. That's the
So,
plan. Dave.
I mean, you got him, and if you can win, say, 2 series against 2 really good teams, the Diamondbacks and the Brewers, I mean, that still gets you to 51 and 53. Like, that's how hard this climb is going to be, and they're relevant teams on their schedule leading up to the deadline, and there are a lot of season series tiebreakers that have already gone against them, and so schedule does ease up in August and in September, but it is kind of interesting to kind of like have this pause, and then like as soon as they get back to Wrigley Field, like it's go time all over again. Like if they get swept by the Diamondbacks, you're looking at a really really hard road to get back into the playoff picture and like actually be relevant, because it's crazy these parallels between last year and this season of like this is once again setting up to be okay, well, what if they buy, and then what if they collapse a couple weeks later? Like it's just the team is like just not built in a way to just like run away with things, and that's kind of what you have to live with when you don't have some of that star power to just start dropping 3-run homers left and right.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of talk, at least it's on social media, and there's frustrations with guys like Christopher Morel, right? And the reason you have to stick with a guy like Christopher Morel is because of what we just talked about. Like it's the power. He adds an aspect to this
Yeah.
team that they don't have enough of, that they're seeking. So you don't sit him because he's trying to pull the ball too much or whatever, or he's the numbers, the results aren't coming. You have to kind of ride him and get him right. And you, like I said earlier, like I'm not going to predict that Sunday was a launching pad for him, but you have to hope, the Cubs have to hope that it is, because they need that power. Listen, I know Patrick Wisdom isn't playing a lot. He's just a bench guy right now. and that's probably his best role. But that's the reason why you don't get rid of him as well.
Yeah.
Like you just need those types of guys on occasion. Like you can't call up Luis Vasquez and get rid of Patrick Wisdom or something like. I'm just throwing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like you need that guy that can get locked in and hit 6 home runs in 10 games for you. It's just how this team is built right now. You cannot be giving up that type of power talent. Now, if they somehow replace it, yes, okay, yeah, you get a better version of Patrick Wisdom that you can rely on more frequently. Yeah, I get moving on from Patrick Wisdom. I'm just saying you can't. It's really hard right now with the way this team is built, because I get fans get frustrated with guys, and it's like trade him or get rid of him or sit him. You have to ride some of these guys because they give you what you just don't have, or they have the potential to give you what you just don't have, which I think Patrick is going to be interesting because Friday, in all likelihood, Mike Tauchman is going to be activated. And that changes the dynamic. Part of what I wrote about when was the defense. I feel like the defense has really shifted. Saturday's game 1, people are going to focus on that because of Wisniewski. That was mostly Wisniewski and one small bobble by Mastrobuoni. It was just one ugly, unfortunate inning. I wouldn't use that as an indictment of how the defense has looked so much better. I mean, Michael Busch looks like a plus first baseman defensively. Nico, Dansby's locked in again. Mastrobuoni has generally been great at third. And listen, I'm not like, I don't think Happ and Suzuki are elite defenders in the corners. They throw out like a runner a game. It feels like every series they're
I'd
throwing
say
out
also
runners.
drops the fly ball every Justice Steals. It's so weird.
That's why I can't say they're good defenders. Happ makes some odd play, they take some odd routes. Seiya's a good defender except for that. It's like everything Seiya does, I'm like, oh, that was a nice play. Okay, and then he misses these easy pop-ups, and you're like, well, I can't call him a good defender if he's going to do that. It's
he's
mind-boggling.
Not a good defender.
No, it's there's something wrong there. But PCA is elite. PCA, I watch him and I'm just like, sure. There was a ball and he does this, and you I think it's easier to see in person than on TV, but he does this once a series where there are these balls and I'm like, is that getting in the gap? That may get in the gap. That probably is in the gap. And then he makes it easily. It's just he catches the ball with ease. It's not like he's diving for it. It's not like he's making some insane play. He's just so fast and reads it so well. But okay, so with Tauchman, I'm curious how it shakes out. And there isn't much clarity. It could be PCA that loses time. It could be Mastrobuoni that loses time. Is it Morel that loses time? We can't go just off Sunday, right? I don't know who the Diamondbacks are going to pitch on Friday. Maybe they go Gallen. I don't know what their plan is, right? Do they go lefty, righty? But if Tauchman's starting, who's he sitting? Let's assume it's a righty on the mound. I'm very curious to see how Counsell is going to handle this. Or is it just going to be what it was before Tauchman got hurt and when Bellinger was healthy, there was this mix that he had, right? Does he continue that mix but replace Mastrobuoni with Bellinger? Do you understand what I'm saying? As far as it's that 1, 2, 3, 5-person mix-ish, right? With PCA, say Mastrobuoni, Tauchman, and Morel. So it's changing. You got to play Busch every day. So it's a different
that's a
group
good
of
point.
five.
Just that Michael Busch is the first baseman every day for the rest of the year, essentially.
Right.
And I think that's there have been so many other big names and other interchangeable pieces that sort of got overlooked, but that he is their guy,
right,
at first base. Period.
Right. And he deserves it. He's earned it.
Yeah.
He makes plays now regularly where I'm just like, oh, okay, so he's just not going to make mistakes anymore. He's just not and he's making every tough play. It shifted quickly. I started to notice, I'm like, oh, he's not making mistakes. Okay, that's good. And now it's like, oh wait, not only is he not making mistakes, but he's making these every difficult play that comes his way. He like manages to snag every tough hop. It's been impressive.
I mean, it's crazy how that trade with the Dodgers was like exactly what the Cubs needed. The Cubs nailed their evaluation of Shota Imanaga, who will be at the All-Star game this week, part of the festivities, and they hired someone who's regarded as one of the best managers in the game, and they're still stuck where they are. And so I guess you could be glass half full, glass half empty. I was curious, Sahadev, what were you kind of seeing and hearing in St. Louis? Because in Baltimore, it was kind of the beginning of this trip. Honestly, it's hard to tell when the Cubs win or lose. Like they're just kind of the same for the most part. What was the, I don't know, vibe check heading into the All-Star break here?
Yeah, I would say like after Friday's win, I think they were really like there was some like a lot of belief there, and like the vibes were very high. Like Sunday's win, obviously you want to go into the break like that, right? I just like it's hard to like Counsell doesn't change at all.
Yeah.
So it's like so there's no reading him in any different way. Whether you're chatting with him to the side or on the record in the group, right? There's just no like huge difference in how he carries himself or how he reacts to questions or anything, which I think is tremendous for the team. Like the team seems to really respond to that and like that, and that's a big positive of his. But it makes it hard for us to be like, okay, what are the vibes really like? Like, are people on edge? It doesn't seem like I talked to some guys, and after the Baltimore series, they were still wondering like, what's the front office thinking and what are they doing? But like they definitely were like, we're feeling good. We like there's just we also like there's a feeling of like we got to keep doing it. Like you can't let those 2 months. Like everyone in that room thought that 2 months would not last, right? Like it wouldn't last like that. Like they didn't think it would get to that point. So they were shocked it got to that point. And even Counsell said like eventually some of this stuff has to turn, right? And it did.
Yeah.
But I think now they're at a point like, okay, got to keep it going. This can't be a week. This can't be 2 weeks. This has to be who we are. And the blips can't be 2 months. The bad stuff can't be 2 months. It has to be that has to be a series or two, right? Like kind of what the Orioles are going through now, right? The Orioles probably hope this is a blip, not like a downturn for them, right? The Cubs have to hope that this is an upswing and that they had a 2-month blip and they look back in a couple of months and feel that way. But it didn't feel like a catastrophe after Saturday in there. There was some frustration, but I think they kind of understood where they were, like how the game one was one to flush type thing. And game two was just like, that happens. Assad didn't have it today, and it was 5 2/3 innings that the relievers had to cover after covering 5 or 4 in the previous game. Like that's tough. So that they understood that, and nobody was like devastated. It didn't feel like Tampa, where there was a lot of like very quiet clubhouse in Tampa. They lost 2 of 3 there, if I'm remembering correctly. So it didn't like it, but it just like there wasn't the zeal that you would have hoped after a 5-2 stretch. But I think they kind of know like we have a lot more to do.
It'll be a bad look to be
right.
They're
told
not you so.
right. They're not celebrating yet because they're like, we got to keep this up. And it's not like they're putting pressure on themselves or overthinking it. I think they're just like, it's business. Like we got to get our crap done. We can't like be celebrating a nice game or a good stretch of play.
It's wild too, because you had correctly with some of the offensive struggles had identified that series at Fenway Park, and I think the previous trip to Busch Stadium, Memorial Day weekend, is another one of those kind of demarcation lines. I mean, we're talking about, late May, Cubs go in there 3 games over 500, and that's kind of where the slide accelerated, and the length of it was almost 2 full months, which is crazy to think that it went on that long and they're still not buried yet. And I mean, they still have to take care of business, like you said, but like teams that are 3.5 games out of a playoff spot, like don't sell at the trade deadline. And they have
Right.
to continue to at least tread water and make sure there isn't another one of those slides at like the worst possible time. But I think all of the fundamentals of this team still line up with starting pitching, some interesting depth, the manager coaching staff that the organization clearly believes in, of like, if they take care of business, I think we'll be having trade deadline shows of the Cubs adding player X, player Y, and like they may not move the needle in like a huge way when you see the news on Twitter, but I think your takeaways piece of just highlighting those weak spots and like how close to the bottom of the majors they are is very similar to last year, of like bringing in someone like Jamer to like raise the floor on some of this stuff, and don't be like 28th in the majors at this position or that position. If you can get someone to kind of get you closer to the middle of the pack in a couple areas, could have a huge difference, particularly when so much of the National League is bunched up right now.
Yeah, one problem with trying to create more depth or just fortify those weaknesses is this is a seller's market right now, right? So it would actually behoove the Cubs to sell. The problem with that is, A, they're in the race. B, they just don't have enough for you to say like, oh yeah, they have to sell. Like if this isn't Bellinger 2023, right? Forget that. Like even if he weren't injured, I don't think it would be worth the return to like aggressively move him, right? If someone comes to you and gives you like a really interesting prospect that you're in love with, I get that. But he's hurt right now, so that's out the window. Then the rest of it, you're looking, it's like, well, you're not trading Justin Steele, right? Like even if you thought like you get this insane package, unless you're getting better for 2025, that doesn't make sense right now, right? Like so they like and especially now that they're back in the race, and how well he's looked, like it's like he's getting better as it goes along. Like when he's on the mound, there's like this confidence that I can see that like not just from him, but from the group. That's like, oh, we got this game. Like we put up 3 runs, we're gonna win. That's the type of performance he's been putting up of late, where it's just like so dominant and efficient, and it's it's one of those runs that like we've seen it before with Jake Arrieta, right? Like that extreme confidence. That was another level, of course. So he's not there yet, but I've been impressed, and just the assurance that he gives everyone around there when he's on the mound is impressive. And they got 2 other guys that are pitching at very high level too. It gives them a chance, and I think you have to. There's no way you can suggest that this is a obvious sell situation. 3.5 games out. I know they're behind a lot of teams, but they're all bunched up 2 days into, after this weekend, the Cubs could be, very like in a very like no teams behind them, right? Like 1 or 2 teams. I mean, not behind them, but ahead of them.
I mean, that's a great point too. Like you have Justin Steele pitching like this and Shota Imanaga pitching like this. Like this stuff doesn't happen every year. And like, you're not always gifted these extra opportunities every year to like stay in the race. And maybe if the Cubs were in the American League or whatever, if situations were flipped, like it would have been obvious by now to like sell, but it's not at all. And I think if you're not selling, you have to be adding, you have to be trying to win. I think the Cubs have to like honor that. Like these are their players. This is not like some new regime that like inherited all. Like these are their handpicked guys. They clearly believe in them. They gave them big contracts. They gave them no trade protections. Like they've been talking about their pitching infrastructure for years. Like there should be arms like popping now. I mean, we don't, not to put this on any of those guys in the futures game, but like maybe a Matt Shaw or Ballesteros or someone like comes up and gives you a lift, in the second half. Like, we don't know. I wouldn't like bet on it, but they've clearly bet on all of these players here. Like, this is not Theo's team. This is not prior regime. Like, this is all about Jed. And this is, they're already this far in around the CBT. Like, they're supposed to win this year. And I think you have to, put all your energy towards that.
Yeah, and like I think like this is kind of random, but I was just thinking about the Luke Little injury and how you kind of shift the bullpen around. Like they're going to have to get someone else in there. They can't allow what happened to Mark Leiter Jr. to happen again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like things like that. Like so they if they're planning on contending, they need to fortify the bullpen for sure. Like they need to find a left-handed pitcher that Counsell can go to and trust, because like Smiley is a good guy, a veteran, and he can definitely eat innings and get you outs. He's not a lefty specialist. It's not like he dominates lefties, and that's like they need to find someone that can do that, and maybe not even just dominate, but that you can trust in bigger situations. So I mean, that's just one of a few needs, and they're not these like massive buys, right? Like there is. We've talked about it enough that they could do the massive buy and it would help the team, right? But that there are ways to improve this team and just kind of strengthen random weaknesses, or slightly improve, like catcher, right? Like just slightly improve the offense there. And you're talking about a very different, you're feeling very differently about spots in the lineup and not feeling like there are these massive gaps in the lineup. I think this is going to be these next 2 weeks are going to be fascinating, because I'm very curious to see how they pull it off, Patrick. Like what?
I don't think they know, right? I mean, they're having these same conversation, like a version of this conversation,
right,
in between draft picks or whatever, right?
Yeah, right. Absolutely. They're not. It's. I mean, the conversations have already shifted in the past 10 days, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like it happens so quickly. And if things go bad this weekend, it can shift again. So we'll see how it goes. What exact needs pop up? Like I think it's clear, but we'll see how aggressive they are and how they address those needs, because I think sitting still is not Jed's MO. He loves deadlines.
No.
He loves making. He knows that this can be a stagnant league, and he likes to take advantage of deadlines moments when it's like people have to make moves right now. He likes to take advantage of that, because there are a few times when you can really impact a roster during the season as a front office exec, and this is one of them. And he's going to do something. He doesn't sit still. All right, I think we'll be back for 2 more episodes this week. Get right back at it. This is Northside Territory. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review for the podcast. Thanks so much to everyone behind the scenes that puts in all the work to get these episodes up. Make sure to subscribe to The Athletic. Read Patrick and my work there. Thanks for listening, everyone. Take care.